Hey guys, Shirtshot Midget here. So I got a VFC MK18 to do a video on. So this is a really high-speed AEG. So the story behind this is there's a guy that lives in the southern part of the state that I live in, and he sent me 3 different guns. He shipped them to me. This is one of them. It's a VFC MK18. He also sent me a CYMA AK, which I've already done, and I did film a video on it, but I might not upload it. I don't know for sure, but it's a CYMA, like grungy looking Franken AK. And then the third gun that I have not finished is a E&L M4 of some sort. It might be a Mark 18 as well. So this gun, as it's set up, is pretty awesome. It shoots awesome. So let's just start from the rear and go to the front. So on the back here we have a Magpul stock. I'm not sure if it's an MOE or I think it's a, it says MOE there. So it's like the airsoft one if I'm not mistaken, or PTSs. I can't remember. There's been so many iterations of these Magpul stocks. It says MOE though. I believe this is an airsoft version, but I could be wrong. There's a metal buffer tube here, ambi sling mount on the receiver there. There is a PTS pistol grip on here, PTS. These are pretty cool. It is in tan, which doesn't really match the rail or the rest of the gun, so I would have had it black if I were him. But that's neither here nor there. The body on here is VFC, like I said. It is metal, of course, like all VFC bodies. And it does have Colt trademarks. So this gun is pretty dang cool. Colt trademarks are always awesome. I really like that about it. There's Magpul flip-up front and rear sights here. They look like real ones, but they could be fakes, you know, copies. There's tons of copies. There's a fake pec box on here. It doesn't work at all. It's totally fake. Which, honestly, if you ask me, is a waste of space. It doesn't weigh much because it's hollow plastic, but it's just a waste of space on the rail if you ask me, but it's all for looks. The rail on here is a bronze, burnt bronze is what it looks like. It seems darker than normal, but maybe the burnt bronze are this dark and I'm just not used to it. But whatever color it is, I actually kind of like it, but with the tan, no. I could get down with a black grip, though. But I do like the rail. I'm thinking this, I'm pretty sure this is a Mark 18 spec rail. I'm thinking it's 12 inches, if I'm not mistaken, 10 sounds more about right. There is a Magpul angled grip on here, like an angled vertical grip. It angles backwards, which I think he has it on backwards. See how it angles down that way? It's supposed to angle forward, so this should be flipped around, I'm pretty dang sure. It's got a storage compartment in here, and I don't know what brand it is. It looks like it's unmarked, so it's probably a copy. I know Lancer Tactical makes them. And then there's just a flash hider. You can tell it's steel. Flash hider in the front. For the internals, as far as hop-up, it actually has a max hop-up. Now, this is the first time that I've worked with one of these hop-ups. They have some cool features, but they're also kind of a pain to work with. The screw, or the, like on a Pro end, there's a little pin that holds the arm in place, which pushes the nub up and down. That is actually a screw on here, so you have to take a super, super tiny flathead, or like, in my case, a razor blade knife and twist it to unscrew it. So it's not a pin, so it's harder to work with. Plus, the spring that's on that arm is really, really heavy, so you really have to push down there and get that sucker back in. So that sucks, but it does have a little window here, which I believe you can, well, you can see BBs through it, but also I think you can hook up like a tracer system to it and shoot tracers with a light there, which is an awesome feature. It's a rotary style hop-up, so it's going to go up and down and adjust via wheel, which is cool. I think it goes up to like maybe 10 or 15 on the numbers, so you could hop pretty heavy BBs with something like this. The inner barrel, I think it was a Mad Bull. No, let me take this out because it definitely was not a Mad Bull. Hop-up systems, custom barrel, 6.02 by 285 millimeters. So that's that. The hop-up bucking, it is flat hop, so it's got a flat hop nub. It's a modified flat hop nub and a modified soft bucking. For the gearbox, it has a BTC Spectre Mark II. This is a Bluetooth version. It's got an SHS high-speed motor, which I generally don't use because they draw a lot of power. They heat up, the batteries heat up, they draw a lot of power. The ASG 40Ks are about as fast, maybe just a little slower, but much more efficient. So I recommend the 40K ASGs over this, but the SHS high speeds are decent. Spring guide is Lonex. Obviously the base gun is a VFC, so it's a VFC shell. You got a Lonex cylinder, Lonex metal cylinder head. I'm thinking this nozzle is Lonex as well, but it might be the stock VFC. I think this one's the Lonex. SHS pre-lightened metal rack piston. I believe this is an SHS trigger with the short trigger pull mod. And then the spring, I'm not sure what brand, I'm not sure what weight. It's short stroke by 2 teeth, which the previous owner did. Alright, so I also forgot to mention that it has SHS 12-to-1 gears. That's pretty important parts. Yeah, it's got a full SHS set, 12-to-1s, and like I said, it was short stroke by 2 teeth with a high-speed motor. And this is a 1300 milliamp, 20 to 50C, 25 to 50C Nanotech 11-1. This thing, with no ROF control, shoots 35 rounds a second. Alright, so different day. I had to spend about 3 hours total working on this gun, the VFC MK18. It's a totally different day, but I got it done and I'm pretty confident with that. So when I came to do the shooting video a couple days ago, I was noticing that on full auto the BBs were severely dropping. I'm talking like maybe max 100 feet on full auto, which is pretty weak. As it is sitting right now, it is shooting 180 feet on semi-auto and full auto. So it is shooting how it should. I changed a few things. So what I changed is I had to put a Pro in here because the max hop-up was acting a little funky. I switched out a few things simultaneously. I actually cut the tappet plate because I have a sector chip on here, and when you use the sector chip, sometimes the nozzle can actually be held back too long and your piston comes forward before your BB has even sealed in your hop-up. You can have that with high rate of fire setups. Some people think you just slap a high-speed motor or high-speed gears in here and go. You have to do modifications with tappet plates, tappet plate springs, stuff like that to get the timing proper. Otherwise you're going to be 100 feet. Your range is going to be like half what it should be on full auto. Sometimes even worse. So as it sits right now, it feeds fantastic with high caps, and I use 2.5s out of it. With the Pro in, it is a flat hop bucking. It's the Modify Soft with a Modify flat hop nub, and the Airsoft, Airsoft Systems, whatever inner barrel that I showed earlier. So the same inner barrel, just same bucking, just a different hop up unit, and the same nub as well. And like I said, I switched that out, and I also did the tappet plate. I cut it, and the tappet plate didn't fix anything, and then I switched hop-ups, and then it started working. So I had to come down to the hop-up. That's what I'm going to say was the issue. So with the Pro in here, it's nice and shimmed. It's not moving. He said he was going to put a charging handle in here. I honestly wouldn't even mess with it. I'm pretty sure he's capable on working on guns because he threw a lot of these internals in here. So he knows basic stuff, if not more than basic stuff. But I'm still concerned about, like, oh, if he takes the receiver totally off the gun and then something breaks and then it just stops working properly. That can happen sometimes. So I just recommend, like, honestly, just leave it as is. You don't need a charging handle in this thing unless you're really picky with it, and you can take the upper off and, you know, replace the charging handle parts if you want. So the settings on here are the same. I'm using the 25 to 50C 11.1 1300 Nanotech. This is fully charged, and it's chronoing 35 rounds a second with that battery with the motor that is broken in. It's not brand new motor, so it's already where it's going to set is where it's going to stay. It is the SHS high speed, which draws quite a bit of power, but it shoots really fast, and the trigger response is pretty good as well. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get shooting this. Nothing else has changed. As far as the FPS, well, I can't really say that. The FPS did change. It lowered. I didn't change the spring or anything. My guess is the spring broke in. because he short-stroked it. I think he short-stroked it 3 teeth. So this is probably a 125 short-stroke by 3 teeth, and it's shooting 370 with .2s. That's normal. So the FPS is where it should be. It's just he short-stroked it. If I were to have done this, I would have probably done 1 tooth, and it would be like 395-ish. That would have been a little bit better, but this is not a high FPS gun. This is kind of a short gun. He could take this indoors because the indoor field in Cincinnati, where he lives, around that area, they allow 400 there. So 370 with .2s, he can play with this no problem, and he can also use his AK there. This also will make a nice high-speed gun for outdoors for full auto. As you can see, the trigger response is actually pretty dang good. It's pretty snappy. It seems like it's hitting pretty good. Again, it's really not hitting very hard, 1.25. But the FPS is, or the gun is consistent. As you can hear, it's extremely windy. I'm talking really loud. I hope that it's not too loud, but it's super windy out here right now. And it's still shooting pretty straight. I'd still confidently say 180, 200 feet. And then for the full auto here, again, I said it was shooting 35 rounds a second. And the BBs stay pretty straight. Overall, they don't drop like it was doing before. As you can hear there, I'm hitting it literally every time. So I'm going to let the gun cool off. I've shot 500 rounds through it, about 300 out of that, and about 200 out of this. So I'm going to let it cool down for a little bit. I can feel the battery is warm, the motor's a little warm. It's a high-speed gun, so it's drawing a lot of power. So I'm going to let it cool down a little bit. If you have any questions or anything, go ahead and ask in the comment section. And I don't normally say this, but give me a like if you like this video. This gun shoots great. Thanks. See ya.